What up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 51 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2022. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host from Rick Barth and the Line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And rounding out this righteous crew, coming to you courtesy of Brothers from Another Planet, Comedy People's Time, and Taped Off TV. He's a podcaster, an actor, a comedian, and a filmmaker. His work has been featured on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and his new film, Who's Afraid, is in post-production now. A hunk, a hero, and one of the best people you will ever meet. LeMar McLean is on the show.
Take life one day at a time.
Yes. Oh, that is what I call a dynamite drop-in, my friend. Before we get into the glory and the good times that are The Last Dragon, I do want to take a minute to acknowledge the passing of one of the greatest heroes in all of comedy, the amazing Gilbert Gottfried. The world is just an incredibly less funny place, and I don't usually get wrapped up in celebrity deaths, guys, but this one is just like devastating to me on a personal level. I had met the man once and I was in such awe of him. I could barely look at him or speak to him. I just like shook his hand and he was so nice and sweet. And I don't know, this is just awful. I grew up loving Problem Child. Beverly Hills Cop 2 is one of my favorite cameos of all time. Excuse me, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. There's just so many great things that this man did, and I feel like he was never, appreciated enough.
Also responsible for bringing a lot of movies to life for us on USA Up All Night.
Thank you. Yes. Oh my God.
Yes.
I single-handedly got into filmmaking because of those those Friday and Saturday nights in Wellman, Iowa. Just watching everything that came. I mean, Porky's, Vice Squad, Class of Nukem High.
Dream Trap.
Vice Academy. I love the Vice Academy movies.
That series may be better than the Police Academy series. You can all fight me if you want, but I'm telling you, Vice Academy is no joke, man. Those movies are incredible.
So it's ironic. I wrote an article for Fandom Spotlite just literally the day, like right before he passed away, on Problem Child 3, Junior in Love. And if I can I just read what I wrote here, because I think
Please do, sir.
Before we even read one more line, we must all agree, not just any agreement, because countries and politicians from across the globe can easily solve their issues and come to rational conclusions. That's easy. What's more difficult is getting the world to acknowledge the legendary mythos of Gilbert Gottfried, a man who should be immortalized in statues next to Caligula and Mother Teresa.
Wow.
I mean, that is poetry, sir. That is absolute 100%
Those
poetry.
ends of the spectrums.
Yeah, I love Gilbert Gottfried. Did a lot. I mean, he was an SNL cast member, and came in an SNL at the worst time. He was the cast who replaced the originals.
Yeah.
Nobody was going to succeed. And
the rolling cast.
And he did it with grace. He was like, whatever. You know?
And like awesome Cosby Show cameos.
Yeah, great cameos in the Cosby Show. That's true. I mean, he must have cameoed on millions and millions of things, sitcom wise and stuff like that. But yeah, USA Up All Night was such, I kind of preferred him to Rhonda Shear in a sense. Maybe it's just because of the movies that they chose for him to host, but or maybe it's because he was more typically, I think, Saturday night and she was Friday night. So I think more often I'd be watching on a Saturday night. That's just the way my life worked back then. So I just have these fond memories of there finally being a movie host who could show comedies and show other things. And it wasn't, I love horror and stuff, but it's, it's great to see that format in other genres as well. Just every form of schlock should be hosted by Gilbert Gottfried.
And the best part is he just acted like he hated every minute of being there, which just made it even better.
Yeah.
He was basically shitting on the movies.
Oh, he was like, we're watching Caveman. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringo Starr, Caveman. That's the movie. And he just kept saying Caveman over and over and over again until it was just so obnoxious. You're like, you're right. God. We're literally watching caveman.
Well, I'm starting to wonder, like, I know it is like when I saw the news, I don't know why, but the more these announcements happen, the more people we lose whom we've revered for decades. It continues to be more and more difficult to believe than something we're accustomed to. I don't know if y'all have felt that way, but like to see that he was only 67, not knowing beforehand that he had been unwell for a while, even then it's like, yeah, I don't want to believe this, and something in my brain is going to just refuse that it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's very, that's absolutely the way I feel. It's like, again, these things don't usually throw me that much, because I usually don't know these people at all, but it just feels personal with Gilbert Gottfried. You always kind of had this feeling that like, oh, I love this guy. I don't know if anyone else does yet, but like you would find out later, of course, that they do. And like most people, they're not, praised enough until they're gone. And, we need to do better about that with a lot of these legends that are still with us.
He's a great lesson. He's a perfect example of the idea that the more unique you are, the more universal you'll be. To your point of how everyone kind of had an intimate connection with him. Like, there's no one like him, and there will be no one who comes after. Like it was he had a style, a delivery, like a personality that the industry would not dare try and replicate. Though there are others that they have, or at least tried. But like that's why everybody had a direct connection to him, because he was so damn specific. Like when he hangs the phone up on his ex-wife and then picks the phone up again to keep yelling, like,
bitch.
So good.
If I had something in this hand and this, you go, I don't, whatever,
What they forget about those big tickets there? Yeah.
Oh man.
Ouch, $50. Yeah. Oh, man. He was a true artist, and I just feel like we lost, like, I'm not big into like the art world, so I wouldn't even know what artists to name, but like I feel like we lost like Van Gogh or like Da Vinci or just like some kind of crazy genius.
My thing about him that I always found fascinating, he's the comedian's comedian, which is the thing. If you're in the comedian world, like there are certain comedians that like they will all go to and just say, we're going to stop our show. We're watching Gilbert Gottfried. And you hear from all of them, like, Richard Lewis and Jerry Seinfeld and they would all just watch Gilbert Gottfried and go, we can't compete. And
you can't look away whenever he's there. He's the guy at any of those roasts. He was the funniest guy. Every single word he said, you were roaring, That is a special and unique and rare and 1 in a trillion gift,
Sure.
Well, anyway, we should get back into the reason we all came here today. We are here, of course, today to bust the moves, to reach that upper level, and to kiss some Converse. That's right, folks. It's time for the Last Dragon II, Double Dragon. But before we figure out who's the baddest, we need to talk about how The Last Dragon came into our lives and what we love about it. That means it's also time for you guys watching at home to dish on how it came into your lives. We talking VHS, laser, theaters, cable? Hit us up in the live chat and let us know. So, LeMar, do you remember the first time you watched this masterpiece of a film?
I do. It was in the South Bronx at my at home. It was a Friday night, and it was a VHS copy that was dubbed from television. I believe it may have been something that was the first time I watched it might have been the time during which it was being recorded, but I was not old enough to sync up pressing play and record at the same time. So someone else definitely did it for me. Okay. But after that point, it became a tape that I would watch all the time. It wound up being a great tape. Start off with The Last Dragon, throw in The Terminator, and then close out the tape with Commando.
Still my heart. Like when you want to kick ass in 1980 fucking 5.
Do you still have that tape?
I popped it by playing it so much.
Yes. Oh man,
and
that's
it
the way
was
to go though.
Rhyme, though.
And it was
you ride her till she bucks you, or you don't ride her at all.
It was
what?
It was
I just watched Tin Cup. Give me a break.
It was before, or it was before the home video edition came back into print. Years before. So
I remember. Okay,
so years went by that I never saw that I didn't see The Last Dragon again.
It was the music rights.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what did it. Yeah, that's what this, what was it? This heavy metal. There's a couple other movies from the 80s where the soundtracks,
the Wildlife.
Well, not to get too nerd on you guys, but before, for instance, Easy Rider soundtrack, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't pay rights to artists for soundtracks.
Correct.
What you made your rights, you made your money going on tour. So movie, if you wanted to borrow a song in a movie, you just did it. After that album became such a hit, artists started asking for money to put their songs in movies, which is why you can find a few movies out there where the Beatles songs are in them, and it's fine because they didn't pay any money. But after that, that's when it was, everybody had to pay rights to this, and some artists were hip to it, some weren't, and so some did contracts that they didn't realize. And so The Last Dragon and heavy metal, a lot of those artists were like, no, you can't put you got to pay us more money.
How damning is it? It's Berry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
I know.
It is a music mogul. It is the Diddy of his time.
I mean, that's an understatement, sir. Berry Gordy is, again, just one of those people that no one will ever replicate the amount of hits that came out of Motown. No one will ever replicate the amount of groundbreaking artists that came out of Motown. And to me, this movie is kind of like this lavish, luxurious party almost at the end of the golden era. You know what I mean? Let's throw one last bash before everything's changed forever.
Yeah.
Almost that Boogie Nights New Year's moment, or so, if you will. But we'll get into that in a sec. Nikki, and do you guys remember the first time discovering this beautiful, wonderful, perfect film?
I do. It was yesterday.
Oh my God, that's right. You did tell me.
Wow.
So
I've never seen this before. And I'll be honest, I think I've never heard about it until you all started talking about it to me one day.
Wow.
I'm serious. This was not an HBO-er. This was not a.
Yeah, I can't see this getting out there in Iowa.
This was homework. So how did it hit?
It hit like it hits everybody. You're going, what is happening? Who is this guy? Why is his hair like Gene Simmons? Why is he in a red jumpsuit of badassery? Everything about this movie, it's one of those you watch it and you're by yourself, because my wife's not watching this, I can tell you that. But I'm watching it going, I'm turning to nobody on the couch going
can you believe what I just saw?
What the fuck? What is this? Are you seeing this?
You just need to explain it to your wife properly. This is our Grease. You know what I mean? This is for us. And I love Grease. And I love Grease too. But
I hate
this
Grease.
is Grease for guys.
Now
I hate Grease too.
Yeah.
You hate Grease also, or you hate Grease 2 with Michelle and Maxwell? Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I love to hate Grease too.
There's a
so
bowling song about doing it. LeMar, come on.
Who's that guy?
That's just beautiful.
Lame.
So,
but then of course, but I've always heard the bars. That's the most interesting part. You've heard the song and the soundtrack, for these songs for years. Because there's a couple hits on this, So
there's nothing but hits on this. We got Willie Hutch, The Glow. Are you fucking around? Are you fucking kidding me?
We got Rockwell, upset stomach from a broken heart.
Seventh Heaven.
Stevie Wonder.
Seventh Heaven plays nothing but heat, my friend.
Dwight David's contribution to this soundtrack, like, understand this, like, The Last Dragon by Dwight David is the first song you hear. It sets the whole fucking tone, man.
For sure.
This fighting, this kata and like, we are meeting a hero in that sequence, like, in mythic and magical ways, and it's like a full tease because we never really see his face. We don't, like, it's all just, this is legendary shit,
and it gets you so fucking jacked up, you know.
And that music with it,
oh yeah,
like,
the whole soundtrack, is just fire. I remember I caught this on HBO one time.
That's a good
I never
HBO.
saw it on HBO. I swear.
I think I saw it like in the afternoon or something like that. It was like a daytime thing or whatever like that. But I mean, from jump, I mean, like, and also, like, you know, being a huge Prince fan, I knew Vanity and stuff like that. So I was just like, it's Vanity, and she was so hot. So I'm just sitting there going like, this movie is just like fire. Like,
if you don't love,
it's not a dull moment in this movie.
If you don't love Vanity, like, you don't have a pulse. Like, I don't know you're not a human being. Like, I don't care who you are or where you come, where you're from, who you love, but like, everyone loves Vanity in this movie.
This would have never happened. Would have never happened if she did act in Purple Rain and she did stay with Prince. Because this was basically just
that's right, she wasn't
her, you know, trying to get away. And then subsequently, she signed to Motown Records.
Vanity.
Can you imagine if Prince was involved in The Last Dragon? I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. I can't.
Yeah, I can't see it.
I would have lost my mind. But he would have never taken place in a Motown created movie. So
I know, but like, what if there's a way? Like, who would have thought that Freddie and Jason could have ever shared this?
Well, you do realize Prince would have had to have been Bruce Leroy, right?
Well,
that's probably
like
right.
He would have insisted.
Yeah. I'm watching it.
Yeah, and at that point in time, he would have been right too.
I'm watching it the whole time, and I'm just sitting there like, God, if only Michael, if only, you know, like that could have been like, well, maybe this is more for the pitch, but, you know, imagine if The Last Dragon just went a little bit further and you got Moonwalker, Street Fighter. Like,
oh, okay.
I got to be honest, when because I did the research.
That is crazy, man.
But think about
you inject a little bit of canon into it.
That's what I'm just saying. Like,
okay.
So use jargon that's friendly.
About that, you can have that in short supply, but still, because there is a film starring Ke Huy Quan and co-starring Jerry Trimble called Breathing Fire. It also features Bolo Young as part of a bank robbing team led by Trimble, and it's incredible. And there's also a character by the name of Mickey, as it happens, played by TJ Storm. It's his first movie role. And as Mickey, he's a kid who both loves Michael Jackson and loves kicking ass.
Oh, wow. I need this movie. Breathing Fire?
Yeah.
The only thing they're missing is Corey Feldman.
That sounds delicious.
There'd be a dueling.
Well, there's always room for
Feldman.
Yeah, there's always room for a sequel as
there's
well.
There's always room for Jello, and there's always room for Feldman.
So before we get into this particular film, or my first time, I should say, watching this film, I do want to touch on the chat, of course. Some friends back in the chat. Jeremy Ledford, glad to see you tuning in, buddy. He says hello, everyone, and great shirt, Chris. First comment, just saying, people like, you know, I wore yellow because I wanted to try and have the glow, you know.
Nice.
I'm trying to reach that up a level. Also, Sean Gold,
brown because you wanted to take a turd. Like it doesn't matter.
It just wouldn't be VCR Redux if Ian didn't hate my shirts. That's what I love about this show.
If you walk around in public that way.
Well, I guess if you consider YouTube public, it's sort of a private public
It's
domain
the
thing,
it's the
so.
most public thing out there. It's the interwebs. Come on.
Well, yeah, that's true. There will be millions and millions of people watching us talk about The Last Dragon Double Dragon,
there
which,
is now.
there is now. That's right. Anyway, another thing I do love, though, I love seeing Sean Gold in the chat, aka Gold's Code, says, I should have been on this show. I know Bruce Leroy. Instead, we get Ian again.
Whoa. Whoa.
Gold's Code
Whoa.
coming in hot. I love it. You should have been. We love you, Sean. We can't wait to have you back on this show. I didn't even think about that. I remember that Timok. Our good friend Lakisa Renee also knows Timok, and we would have loved to have had them all on the show. But maybe we'll do Last Dragon III at some point. Trilogy of Terror, or Game of Death, or something.
Until you insulted.
Yeah, now you got to butter up Ian later in the chat tonight. Jeremy Ledford, by the way, says it was cable for him. We've got a hey guys, Stephen Patton said thanks for tuning in, buddy. He says he's from Plantation, USA. I love the Last Dragon movie. Got the movie from iTunes and soundtrack.
Nice.
Awesome stuff there. Angie Saunders.
You all remember iTunes? You all remember that? That was some good days. They're like 2007, where you just uploaded and synced your iPod. It took like 10 minutes.
You can't even do it that way anymore.
And you couldn't reuse it too. If you got a new iPad or like if you switched your iPod to a different computer or whatever the case may be, your songs didn't go with. You erased all your songs.
Yeah, it was
so,
stupid.
Very not Bruce Leroy.
Your iTunes didn't connect.
I'm just saying that would not.
Yeah,
have
your
happened.
flip. And this is that you still had your flip phone and your iPod in both the same pocket. It's like
they were both the same size too. Yeah, if you had a Razor.
Let me pause my music here. Click, phone, click, hello, flip.
That sounds beautiful. I don't want to do it on the same device. I like having a physical pause button here, click real iPod, and then answering the phone there. It's just I don't know. What if I'm playing? What if I'm listening to Peeping Tom by Rockwell, on the Last Dragon soundtrack, and then Mickey calls. I mean, the serendipity of it would be beautiful.
Rockwell, the musician that everybody tried to make a thing, and it just wouldn't work.
Oh, you just don't have any love in your heart, do you? Right?
Look, I love
grieving.
Rockwell.
We're all grieving Gilbert.
I love Rockwell, but it's like they all tried so hard, and America said, we get it. It's just not what we want. And they were like, but Rockwell. Yeah, I'm
Tell you
good.
what, first of all, I know you're watching Rockwell. You're what I want. So
I love Rockwell. Like, I've downloaded all the songs, but
is it lost on any of y'all that part of the reason why it was nigh on impossible to make him a thing is because the songs that he's best known for are Somebody's Watching Me and Peeping Tom?
Well,
yeah.
I was like, this kid's got no range. Cool.
That's all right. That's true.
Range with a ladder.
And he's Barry Gordy's son, right?
Right. And he took he affected so I don't know if you noticed, but he puts on kind of a creature feature Vincent Pricey voice.
Yeah.
And he sings. Yeah. And that was his way of saying, I'm gonna pretend I'm English.
And Somebody's Watching Me, yeah.
And
I'm in the shower.
So that people
to wash my hair.
Yeah, like I'm doing like I'm gonna be Dracula so that no one knows that I'm Barry Gordy's son.
It's a little hard to hide when you got Michael to sing backup to your song.
Yeah, in that song, I feel like he put that voice on because it was very like creepy. So I feel like he was doing that, going for that Halloween vibe.
Yeah, he was. A little problem with point of view on that. If like he can't be the creepy guy if he's talking about being creeped on. It doesn't connect, but it sure is fun.
And this is why I love him.
So some love to Breathing Fire in the chat again, courtesy of Sean's Gold, but he again goes, let's focus on the real issue of this show. Why am I not a guest on this one? Again, we love you, Sean Gold, and we can't wait to have you back. I'll in fact text you tonight about that. We'll get you booked real soon. Dustin Nino, our good
sorry.
friend from Retro Fiend Radio, again, the makers of the best canon and martial arts documentaries on the internet, said rented this at the local video store 1 billion times. That is amazing. That's all right. So I guess we have to get into my discovery of it. This
Where
one
was I
came,
with this movie? I swear I never heard of this.
you were fucking Rip Van Winkle, dude. You
You're
were
in
sleepwalking through
Iowa.
life.
You're in Iowa. How would you have known about this movie?
You were sleepwalking.
First off,
You were too busy getting pizza from the gas station.
Oh, shots fired. All right. All right.
I'm telling
Before we
you,
lose,
when you go
all
there-
all of our great Iowa viewers that we love.
all 2 of them.
All 2 of them right now. No, I had a great time in Iowa on tour. I just want to say it was one of my favorite stops. Just throwing that out there to counter
Yeah, Mickey.
Mickey's gas station pizza reference.
You
But
were
anyway,
probably in
so-
Davenport.
So this one,
Yeah.
I grew up out in the Midwest anyways. I can't really talk any smack. But out there was where I had cable, and cable led me to discovering the masterpiece that is this film. And I was in this weird phase where I was really obsessed with breakdancing movies and like
Oh,
anything like
yeah.
even like breakdancing adjacent. So I was watching
Yeah.
like Break In and Crush Groove and Beat Street
Yeah.
and like anything even close to that. I was like
To that,
obsessed.
You
like
like I
New
was
York
bastard.
culture, New York
Yes,
hip hop
exactly.
culture.
Yeah, like exactly that, like 80s New York hip hop.
But then
So-
also Flashdance because of that one scene.
What
You know,
one?
I kind of like came around a little bit later on Flashdance. It was always like my mom's movie, so like I just sort of like lumped it in with Footloose and like didn't really like dust that VHS off until a few years after The Last Dragon. But The Last Dragon was just like one of those just gifts from the gods. Like, thank you for cable, thank you for Timac, thank you for Berry Gordy, thank you for El DeBarge, thank you all for Vanity. Oh my God. Eddie Arcadian, William H. Macy's first role. The cast, I believe his name is Julius Carey, who plays Shonuff.
R.I.P.
Incredible.
Yep.
Yeah, rest in peace. Sadly. Timok, however, is healthy as a fucking horse and looks amazing, people.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
about 3 minutes, we're gonna start pitching sequels. Believe me, he is gonna be front and center for I'm pretty sure everyone's. Not to say that there can't be another generation, and obviously with Double Dragon in the subtitle, that wouldn't hurt. But there's just so much. I mean, Faith Prince, who's in this, who is a
Awesome.
great, amazing stage actor, a great television actor as well. I loved her on Spin City. The music video with her and the headlights on her headlights. I mean, that's just incredible.
Best is when she's like, breaking up with like Eddie, and we're saying like, like she's all crying, and she's like, yeah, also from Kew Gardens.
And also getting by on
Oh,
my tits. That's a great moment. It's a great line. It's like, it's one of those movies that probably like has no business being as good as it is, but it
Yeah.
just is perfect. Ernie Reyes Jr. and then Ernie Reyes Sr. doing the fight choreography. There's just like everywhere you look, every direction, there's heat. The guy from Dumb and Dumber, his name escapes me at a moment. He plays Rock in this.
Oh, Mike Starr all day.
Thank you, Mike Starr.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mike Starr.
Oh,
Jim Moody is Daddy Green. Direct Your Pizza, the
Oh,
Daddy
the
Green's
Daddy
Pizza.
Pizza.
The younger brother. Oh my God, I love
Yep.
that. Every time I start talking about Vanity, Mickey gives me like the younger brother speech. Like, man, you don't even know what to do with that. Like, my woman. Like every time, and it's just perfection. This
and we talk about soundtrack, but that ending song, man. Oh, damn, that is like classic.
Gonna
Yeah.
keep it real with you. When I was a kid, I hated that part. Mainly, but
man,
like, which is the song? Is the like Ride on a Ferris Wheel or whatever the hell it is?
yeah, it's something like, can you feel me?
Yeah. So like, there's
I
a
can't
bad.
believe it's happening.
If I were ever to, you can't end a fun movie like that. That bottom line, like,
yeah.
we just been having fun,
That sold the
Fighting.
romance.
kicking people asses. You know what I'm saying?
That sold
Like
the romance.
watching so many different action figures, like the variety of these henchmen and baddies was wonderfully cartoonish
Yeah.
and perfect for
Yes.
this movie. And then to resolve the romantic thread with a ballad immediately from a nightclub where everybody's rocking.
Yeah, but
it's
also
hard.
the ballad started when he was sitting there going like, "Can you teach me some moves?" Because he's trying to yell it out to her and she can't hear it. She's like, "What? What?" And then the music stops. He's like, "Can you teach me some moves?"
It's
a nice tender moment.
It was
but-
a hard song to come to grips with while also accepting that the movie was over.
I just like that
Yeah.
Mickey just said what.
No, you know
Well,
what? To split the difference, you could have easily had like, you know, a couple bars of that ballad and a little like montage fading into like a more upbeat dance track, and then like club gets rocking. Or you could have had the Mortal Kombat ending where like another Shonuff or the Shogun of Brooklyn shows up and it's like fight, you know.
Well, I mean, like the movie is perfection. How I feel about it doesn't change that.
Yeah.
No, there's absolutely, to me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this movie. Nothing is boring. Nothing's dull. Nothing's like, oh man, I wish they would cut that out. Nothing. I wouldn't change a single fucking thing about this movie.
The tank.
Oh,
It is beautiful. It is fucking just
yeah.
perfection. You're right. There is nothing you'd want to change about this except for the fact that it was only one film. And we are going to try and do our best to put it out in the universe to change that today.
Why was it the law? I mean, was it that the whole thing of just not being able to get it out there and get the video? Like, is that really why? Because there really should have been a sequel to this. You know, Barry Gordon had all the money in the world. I mean, there's no, you know, and it was like $10 million, made $33 million, which, you know, now that seems terrible, but this is, you know, 88.
Well, but remember
no,
85.
85.
Remember,
that's great box office numbers.
but
I mean, that's Police Academy 3 numbers, you know, back in training right there. I mean,
I almost feel why we didn't get a second one was because Motown basically died.
You know, I didn't think about that, Mickey, until you just said it. You're right. Motown, after Motown, you know, yesterday,
the 80s were tough
today,
for
and
Motown.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
that's that was it. The moonwalk kind of killed it.
So Barry Gordy Presents wouldn't have had that same luster, and then, you know, that maybe people would have been like, I mean, I don't
think it's taken me all these years to realize that moment killed Motown. When Michael did the moonwalk, it was like everybody wanted the future 80s music.
Yeah, but he was wiping his feet off before you left.
yeah.
But don't get me wrong, that is an incredible performance. You're talking about the Motown 25th anniversary special.
Yeah.
That is an amazing show, and it would have been an amazing show even if Michael didn't moonwalk at it. You know, that's just a great moment in time. And yeah, maybe that is again like the lavish party at the end of it all.
It really was, yeah.
Capped off by this movie. But I can't help but feel like Canon couldn't have come in here with a couple $1 million, you know, or $1 million to scoop up the right, probably less than that to scoop up the rights, you know, or just say, hey, we'll give you some back end Barry Gordy, and we're gonna do The Last Dragon 2. And they'd probably even still put his name above the title because, you know, to them it would probably be a selling point.
At least in the beginning. And then if the movie for some reason wasn't really good and it started to tank, he would say, like, take my name off of it. And eventually you would get it without his name,
I guess. But from like the Golden Globus point of view, they're paying for his name as much as they're paying for The Last Dragon. You know,
but they're paying for the rights too. So yeah.
Although I will say this though, you know, it kind of came in between two moments, right? Like, you know, blaxploitation was obviously over by this point. I mean, it really, you know, the to me, Dolomite kind of killed that. You know, once you get to comedies, once you start doing it as satire, it's kind of gone. But then the interesting part is a couple years after this, you got I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, which is a great movie, but it's like The Last Dragon's in between there, and it's not. And maybe
and you have Hollywood Shuffle too. Hollywood Shuffle, throw that in.
Well,
there.
yeah, you know, it's like, for me, it's not a satire.
It's a superhero movie.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really, It's taken very seriously, and it's like I wonder, did it just miss the mark?
No, you
No.
did.
Too late,
It's
or was it
perfect.
too?
Yeah.
Well,
I think
know
it was
for
too
us
late. It
now,
was
but-
too late for you in your late 30s to discover and appreciate this wonderful film. You maybe have had to discover it at a younger age.
You know, I think you're right.
At the same time, I will say this, like, to be fair, I don't think the culture was fully ready for it because and
Okay.
didn't really know what to do with it either. Like, to your point, Ian, of like the different eras and genres that were marketable and played at that time, or like it was that this movie fell smack in between. Like, there is nowhere among those for it to be. But there's another sort of subgenre which, because of what we are as a country, was hard pressed to go like, oh yeah, this black kid's a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
And therefore, like, everyone in America should get into that. So like it could stay black because it was Berry Gordy's thing. But I don't know that there's a less mainstream thing for Berry Gordy to have his name on.
That's a good point.
Like, all of his
This is-
music
yeah.
spans households.
Yeah.
The Last Dragon is black.
Yeah.
But you know,
But
this-
I
it
almost sorry,
oh,
go
no,
ahead, Chris.
No, you go ahead, Mickey. I'm sorry.
I almost feel like that was the intention in a way, like to make a mainstream black movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And so I feel like it's just one of those things that I think it struck, and I mean, and not just take away, like, you know, not just black movie, but you know, you had a lot of Asians in the
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
You had a lot of diversity
Yeah.
in general. So I feel like it was just trying to, you know,
You had Chaz
capital.
Palminteri, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Ah,
Fuck.
yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yep.
It was just packed, filled to the fucking brim with amazing people and just perfect music, perfect move. You know,
Oh,
dance scenes, fight scenes, everything you want. So we should get to the pitch because we're a little bit past that point. And there are some in the chat already. And also some stuff that we missed. Apparently there was supposed to be a 3-movie deal for The Last Dragon, but it fell through. That comes from Silent JMR25. Thank you for tuning in, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just also some fill in, you know, people like Angie Saunders saying she only watched it on VHS. Gold's Code has a pitch though. He goes, here's the real pitch that my friend was working with Bruce Leroy on for a sequel. It was going to be about Bruce Leroy's daughter and her quest for the glow. That's kind of where I was going to go with it in my pitch, actually. So that's ironic. And I think we did do an episode of this on the Hollow 9 Network a while ago.
Yeah.
Where we did talk about that. Also some love for Vanity, who's another RIP in the chat. And I guess the little brother as well died from this. I did not know that. That's super sad.
O'Brien.
Explains why I never saw him again, because he was amazing.
Well, his decline was more recent. I forget what illness he had, but it lingered for quite some time within the past decade, I believe. Like, it's not. He did have another role. It was small, in New Jack City, as one of the stoop kids, and he told Ice-T, "I ain't telling you shit."
That's him. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's with the Dwayne Wayne glasses. But he had a pretty prominent co-star role in the Mario Van Peebles vehicle, Rappin', as Rappin' Hood's younger brother, which was made around this same time. It also co-starred Eric LaSalle, and
yes,
had a cameo by the Force MDs. And
I need this.
Wow.
Yeah, I have it on VHS because, I mean,
it's rapping.
If your movies end,
you're just living your best life.
If your movie got made in the 80s and ended in IN apostrophe, I was going to buy it.
Man,
breaking, rapping, thrashing,
you know.
Yeah. That's true.
You said Eric LaSalle. Now I just got So Glow stuck in my head.
The funny thing about that is, in this movie, he's bald.
Oh wow. That's incredible.
But yeah,
So Glow.
Leo O'Brien though, man. He had a go of it in Hollywood, you know. But yeah, he's an all-star. Like, he's a legend.
There you go.
Like
Man,
everybody
yeah,
is that had something to do with this movie. Like
it's true.
pardon the sirens.
No problem.
And I know that we got to get
Because
to,
his movie is fire.
it was an engine. I know we got to get to the sequels and whatnot, but like this was my introduction to a lot of these people. Like I didn't know Chris Murney before this, but like
Right.
I knew who he was and everything that I saw after that point. I'm like, oh, that's that guy. That's Eddie Arcadian. Like that was my way
Yes.
into him. He was like a radio DJ in a movie called Where Are the Children with Joe Clayburgh. It was a direct to HBO thing. It was pretty fucking twisted about child abduction.
Oh man, I love Joe Clayburgh.
Yeah, Mary Higgins Clark. I know that book.
Like Vanity. Okay, Vanity was the person I learned that you could be seduced by a look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
For me, it was a sound.
Sure. Yeah. But yeah, like everybody, Mike Starr. This is the first time I saw him. So my point of reference for a lot of these people was based on, they were in The Last Dragon. They're awesome by default.
Yeah.
Only person that I knew beforehand was the little sister Sophia, because I saw the Cosby Show first.
That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot. Holy
Rudy.
shit. That's right.
First time I saw Bill Macy. So like I knew who he was years before, and he was a household name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he was Bill Macy then.
I think you're right. Yeah, he was like Billy Macy, probably. Little Billy Macy. Oh my God.
He was billed as W.H. Macy in this one.
Oh, okay. That's classy. I always like that as a CW Styles man myself.
I gotta admit though, I want to just take over the show now and just focus on Mike Starr, because Mike Starr is one of the most go-to that guys of the 80s and 90s that nobody and nobody knows this. He's the clown in Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
What are you, Mother Cabrini? I got an answer to you.
Get in your mouse. Get out of here.
You're at this all-night bachelorette party. I
can watch Mike Starr all day. All right.
Mother Cabrini, you never touch stuff. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, no, I love Mike Starr. So again, some more pictures in the chat. Again, Gold's Code also says that if I was a guest on this show, I could have got Timac on here to fill you in. So again, we apologize. We love you, Gold's Code. We're gonna have you back. We promise.
He's like mad at us. Like
no, he loves this movie so much, and I should have known better because we have talked about it quite a few times. We should have had some extra guests on the show. What can you do?
It's him. It's not me. It's him.
I know LeMar and Mickey also deeply love this movie. So this is one of those movies. It's just one of the guys. It was everyone wanted to be on it. But I promise you will be back on, especially if you keep dropping pitches like this. He says, pitch, Timac is living a mundane life until his glow scene from The Last Dragon goes viral on TikTok. Now he gets a second chance to make a return to entertainment and make it big as himself. That's actually kind of funny.
That's great. You would have I also go ahead, Chris, finish up the chat.
No, that's it.
I would feel like you'd have to in some way have to address vanity.
Right, that's obviously the first thing you have to do. Is you have to say, okay,
especially if you're going to do a daughter, like if you're thinking a daughter or whatever the case may be or something like that, you'd have to address it. And besides, it's the last time we saw him was with her. You could I'm sorry.
Is this it? I just need some clarification. Would this be like a kayfabe thing where like he's like Timac is playing Timac, but The Last Dragon was real?
Or is it sounds like it.
Or like it wasn't an effect. He could actually do it.
Yeah, I think he's breaking the fourth wall on us a little bit.
I mean, I think Timac would really go for this. I think the precedent set by JCVD kind of gives you the hint that this could very well work.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm game.
JCVD. Wow.
But and again, you are at a deficit of vanity and of show enough. You're not getting them back. But there's no reason that
Eddie
There's no reason-
Arcadian's alive, so right?
Yeah, there's no reason that Leroy's daughter couldn't mix things up with Shonuff's son or Shonuff's daughter or Shonuff's
Yeah.
kids.
Well, then you would
Gang
have
of
the,
Shonuff's, you know.
you would have the Creed movies.
Creed 2, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? There's no reason you can't get DeBarge back together and make some fucking kick-ass music like
That
I
is
mean-
the only reason you want this made, Chris.
I mean-
I know
Fuck
for
you,
years
no way.
you have been wanting that band together.
I mean,
Well, Elder Bars is still going.
yeah,
Are they?
Eldebarge
I thought
is.
they broke up.
Well, here's the
Well, yeah,
thing.
but
They were a tragically plagued family with abuse of drugs and bodies.
Yeah.
And so to say that DeBarge could get back together and make something wonderful for this, the truth of that has limits. However,
Yeah.
because I don't know what the hell Bunny's doing, but I'm pretty sure that Bobby's dead. Like Chico has been in and out of jail.
there's actually
it's-
a Bobby documentary. On,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But El DeBarge is still out here, and I think a nice little scene where maybe Timac goes to visit his old friend, or he goes to hang out with he goes to a lounge, and El is just like doing his thing.
Yeah.
And they reminisce on the old times, and El gives him a nice little speech about how no matter how much you want things to stay the same, it's whether that's the case is up to you. I don't know. He gives his own version of like the glow speech, and that like you've had it all along type of thing. Like, because I'm pretty sure that sensei is no longer with us.
He gives the Eddie and the Cruiser speech when he's talking the word man.
They retcon it, so he's now talking to Sal.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend any of us are above that here. That's maybe Ian. Only because we're talking about Eddie too. There's also some love in the chat about Timac having done a different world episode.
As a date rapist.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
I do remember
Never would have
that.
thought that would be a thing that happened, but fucking A, what can you do? This movie though is just so good, and we need more of it. And I do like Sean Gold also confirmed that yes, Timac will be playing Timac in his version, which I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm not entirely opposed to, but
that was
I do
the
think
best introduction to a sneeze I've ever heard in my life.
I'm about to sneeze.
I'm about to sneeze.
Well, in case you all think I'm like, fainting or something, dying of heat stroke in this booth. But I do think, you do want to see this world continue. You want to see at least the offspring of the Arcadians. You want to see the next generation of this. And
I don't know if I want to see the next generation. I
would wish they made it in 1986 or 87. Yeah, but
I will give you, like, obviously he's got the glow. Obviously he's a master. So he's obviously training new kids.
Point of order. Thomas Ikeda, who played Master, is alive.
Oh wow.
So add that to the mix of what you might deem possible for this exercise.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, you open at the same point in his daughter's life. She's returning from what was then called the Orient. She's now returning from back east and coming to America, and she's
Miami.
about to realize that when she gets home, home's a little different than what she remembered when she left, and she's got to kick ass all the way.
Can I propose something that
I think it's a New York story, though. I really do. I think that New York's at the heart of the movie.
So so she's biracial, right? That would be dope.
Yeah.
I mean, we're assuming it's not Laura's daughter.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Anyway, sorry, Ian, I cut you off.
No, I would assume that it was. I would assume that it was Vanity's daughter.
Okay.
No, I thought it was
Laura Charles.
I thought it was the master's daughter.
Oh, that's what you want. Oh, the master's daughter. Oh, okay.
Okay.
This could be interesting. Maybe his father died, and like the only thing he never taught was the upper level, and then he falls in love with Timac's daughter, and they kick ass together. Boom.
Ooh.
Last Dragon, the final level.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I could, you
Yes.
know,
Oh yeah, that's great.
Because you don't know if you're gonna get 3, but you'll definitely get 2.
who played you guys have seen Coming to America, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The girl who played Eddie Murphy's daughter in that.
Mm.
The one who took over,
Yes.
the one who became queen.
She would be wonderful in that role. I can't think. It's not Eddie Murphy's daughter. I know it's not his
Right,
daughter.
obviously.
It's
but his daughter in the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
well,
But
but
one of his actual daughters was one of the.
yeah, it's not the
Yeah.
older one
Oh,
is not.
oh,
his daughter. That's what I say. I don't know her name. I know the middle daughter is his actual daughter, but she would be great in the role. But the one thing I was going to propose that's interesting is, could you take the story of The Last Dragon, right? Let's say if we're going to do the reboot approach, right?
Mhm.
Could you?
Terrible idea, by the way.
Well, yeah.
You already got the discerning the look from Chris, like
You're such a dick.
Okay, LeMar, you're cool. F you both. Anyway, the can you do a Marvel movie with The Last Dragon? Could
Fuck
you
yeah.
do?
But you don't need to reboot it to do that.
Well, no, I agree with you. And there's a way to do it. And I think Creed showed us how you can reboot something that's not rebooting it. Right?
It's like a legacy sequel reboot. Yeah.
Yes, it's like
Sequel boot.
But are you doing The Last Dragon injustice by having that multi-million-dollar production with, name actor in that role? And, like
it would be Shang-Chi.
I know, that's what I just was saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you
No,
Yeah.
I want it to be. I know what you're saying. I want
This has
Iron-
to be a. This
Or
has
Iron
to.
Fist.
This has to continue. This has to still be like a $30 million movie. Tops.
Yeah.
You gotta
I want
keep
it to be.
small.
I want it to be Canon's Masters of the Universe. You know what I mean? Like that's the superhero angle that you add into it. Bring in like the '85 shit, like
Mhm.
Not
bunch
since
of, like,
Superman 4.
a bunch of like space barbarians with like mullets and shit, and just like superpowers. And Timac kicks all their fucking asses, and it's amazing. And Ernie Reyes comes back because that's crucial. I fucking need that.
I
Well,
don't
you could
care
de-
as long as you give
Is
me
his
Mike
brother
Starr
still
back.
alive?
That's all I care
Like
about.
the kid that played the older brother, is he still alive?
I'm sure he is. He was probably
That-
like. I mean, he
That
looked
would
like
be
he
cool
was.
if you had them both, because they again, in my movie I see Timac, I see Bruce Leroy teaching a class of new students, and you can have them be like co-teachers and stuff like that.
Got to have a Johnny Yu a cameo at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Like he's
And
still
then-
like Johnny Yu is still there, but he actually can fight now
Now he can fight. Exactly.
Oh yeah, totally.
because he
And
applied
again-
himself.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did
like-
basically towards the end learn how to fight in a way. With that awesome fight scene in the club,
Oh man.
which was like, how, like, if you think about it, how many scenes were filmed at the club?
A lot.
Like-
yeah.
Like,
very
Well,
smart.
probably,
that club. They
half
spent a
of
huge.
half
That's
of
the most
this.
expensive set by far. They had
Yeah.
a state of the art video system so that they could like control like things, and shoot in camera. It was really high tech. That stage was state of the art.
For
the
me,
time.
I mean, there's
Yeah, it was.
only a few sets, and most of them are outside,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
so that's
That's
free.
very true. Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. You know the most expensive thing about a night shoot?
Light.
Not just light. That is expensive, but it's getting the fire department to wet the street.
Oh.
Oh
Ah.
wow. You can't just do it yourself, huh?
I mean, you could get a garden hose and but that's an expense that people don't think about.
Scorsese must have.
Yeah,
You
well,
know.
Oh yeah. Well, because if you do a night shoot, and I think Last Dragon, I'll be honest, you guys are gonna hate me, but I ended up like kind of not as into the story as I probably should have been. Again, don't lie to me. I was more looking at the techniques of it all.
I mean,
Calm down, Chris. Just
I mean,
un-
for
You're
your-
you're gonna give me the red glow.
unbutton the shirt and let out.
you already
some of
got
this
the
stuff,
red
you know?
glow. It's behind you, Chris.
Oh my god, it's already happened.
Wouldn't it be
Kiss
great?
my
Wouldn't it be
Converse.
great if Zoom could do that effect? Just a glow around each of them. But I was, this has some beautiful night shoots. Like if you really look at the
Yeah.
movie, the streets are like perfectly lit in this movie. I know that's dumb for me to notice, and you know the internet, you can come after me for it, but I will stand by The Last Dragon has the best night shoots of any movie out there.
It's a great 80s New York movie.
I might
It really
be
is.
blanking on remembering. I mean, because there's the one by the West Side Highway,
There weren't a lot of night shoots to
and
me that were
when-
outside the club.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that ending fight scene is just glorious.
It's in a warehouse though, right?
Well, I know,
That's the club.
still, it's nighttime. I mean, like the night shoots are like they live
Ah.
with background.
The wedding of the streets threw me, and I just
Well, sorry, I was
just stayed
no.
outside. No, that's my bad.
I
Yeah.
did too. So
But
that's
there's
Yeah.
great. There's, I mean, the only one I can think of is Highlander. It's actually pretty badass. But
Yeah, true.
There's a crossover.
right,
Ooh,
Highlander and The Last Dragon.
Man,
Oof.
I
That'd be a hell of a buddy cop movie. Just saying.
That would, but I really do. Going back to like my Marvel idea, like
Yeah.
I really think The Last Dragon coming out today would find an audience more.
sure.
I think
Yeah.
Post Black Panther and you know all this. I really think this movie could really have a success today.
Yeah,
That I don't know if it was there in '85 because what came right after this? It literally was Superman IV, The Quest for Peace. I mean, it was like
it was a weird time, man.
it was,
Yeah.
you know. But
Superhero movies were in an incredibly fast downward spiral.
Think
And,
about that.
I just always see
and
this as a
you know
martial
what,
arts. movie.
that's probably going to happen again in a few years, honestly, folks. You just wait. Once they do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of these in a row that like all underperform, then it's going to be a whole different landscape. For a while.
Morbius tanked.
Yeah,
you
but that
know?
was Sony.
See, that's the excuse you all give. You forgive it because it's Sony.
Because it's the fucking truth.
I haven't seen Morbius, so I can't comment one way or another. But the reviews have not seemingly been favorable.
So I've done this before, I'm pretty sure, and I am admittedly borrowing this idea for another installment to the Last Dragon legacy. I borrowed it from a conversation I had on my podcast, Brothers from Another Planet, where we talked about projects that should or could be remade and how. And I'm going back to the old bag of going before the story began.
Prequel.
And I'm going to deal with the rise of Shonuff.
Ooh.
Now, understand, this guy's a man of a certain age. He may be a Vietnam veteran, and if not, he may very well have been taught by one who learned martial arts in the war and came back to teach the kids of the hood how to handle themselves.
I am sold. I want to see
100%.
that movie.
Now that sensei, that teacher, I'm imagining could be played by someone such as the legendary urban martial arts master Warhawk Tanzania.
Oh, that's the man.
Like,
I remember you talking about him.
Not many people know about Warhawk Tanzania, but he did a horror movie, a martial arts horror movie as one of his contributions to the culture. And yeah, that would be amazing.
Oh.
He would so Shonuff, just a guy, maybe he starts humble and scrawny because he was still pretty slight of a frame without all the gear on.
Shoulder pads, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a lanky guy in general.
And Tanzania's his master.
Right.
Also, I could see Michael Jai White crushing it as that role. As like a veteran, as a guy who in the war.
I mean,
he could be Shonuff now.
Well, Warhawk Tanzania is roughly 80 years old now. I do agree that Michael Jai White as an instructor would also be very cool. He's way old to be Shonuff in the time that
younger
story
Shonuff.
takes place.
Young Shonuff, but at the end you could have some
true
Shonuff.
There was at one point there was a talk of a remake with Sam Jackson playing Shonuff for a long time. I'm just saying
that's preposterous, and I won't hear of it.
I read it, I must have read it 15 times, and every time I
Ridiculous.
was like, this is never gonna happen.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I still don't believe the Toxic Avenger remake's happening.
Only if he
I'm
has that
sorry.
hair. Only if he has the show enough hair. I will watch it. For the show
I'm
enough hair.
sorry. I would pay money to see that. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love the original, but I mean, Samuel Jackson would hit a home run as shown up.
Sam Jackson only hits home runs, but that is a tall order for sure.
Not since Deep Blue Sea, sir.
So what we get is a dimensional origin story for Sho'nuff, such that he is in more of a protagonistic position. He assembles his crew. They see that crack is on the rise. They're not trying to have that shit on their block, and they use martial arts to keep crack off the street.
Oh,
Now, which adds some layers to why Sho'nuff wants to fight Bruce Lee in the first place, because Sho'nuff doesn't ally with anybody unless he fights them, and that Leroy won't do it is fucking with the potential of what they two could do together in the same crew fighting crime. We never get to that in the movie, but that they don't mention it means that we can make it a thing.
Perfection, and you win.
I want LeMar in this movie.
Yes.
I want LeMar.
Oh,
They
yes.
would be crime fighters.
Yes, dude.
Oh,
They're gonna
man.
fucking karate kick crack in the sack. I love it.
But
That's
you know, we
fucking
get
beautiful.
it changes how we look at Bruce Leroy, because then we got to wonder, like, did he know that the reason why Sho'nuff wants to fight him is because he wants him to prove whether he can take down the streets?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that he won't fight him. Like, why doesn't he just fight him? Like, why is he staying out? Like, does he not see that crack is whack and it's coming? Like, there is like that, like this aloof, super distant, obsessed with martial arts black kid in the middle of the hood. Like, that guy's weird. Like, he doesn't have a sense of like what else all is going on in the world.
And
like,
you
the
tied
streets
in
suck, and he refuses to even acknowledge it because he's in his own world. Like, I can imagine Sho'nuff resenting that.
and you tie in the crack and you make it personal, like his mother or his father or someone died, you know.
Yeah.
Good.
So like fucking, oh yeah, you make it real personal, you know.
Yeah, man.
Ken, is this set? This is set in the 80s, right?
It's set
Oh, it's
like
gotta be,
late 70s.
Late 70s. Okay.
Yeah, because 85, Sho'nuff was probably
I just want to have
what,
Mike's
in his 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah.
I think you could set it in like 83 even, 2 years prior.
Yeah, you could.
Just
I
bring-
mean,
just
you'd
bring-
have to be playing a little fast
and
and loose with
it could
recasting.
start off like that 2 years prior.
Mhm.
Just as long as
Yeah.
you can get Mike Starr and Jazz Palminteri as like cops for like cameos.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would just be
Jesus.
great.
That'd be
That'd be
brilliant.
great.
Yeah.
Well, I think Lamar, you win the pitching of the night
Oh, he
because
totally
that is just
wins.
fantastic. Yeah, I loved. This is my second time doing this, and you just crushed it. So I do want to just thank everyone in the chat. Of course, Gold's Code still has more pitches in there, including one where Leroy takes over Daddy Green's Pizza and must harness the glow to compete with major chains that are trying to gentrify the neighborhood. So that's a great contrast. And there's you could have an Eddie Arcadian
Wow.
Corporation in there too. So again, there are hundreds
Yeah.
of ways. This
That's
franchise
impressive.
is so good. I would see 100 sequels, and we deserve to the chance to do just that. But before we wrap it up, guys, is there anything you have coming up in the works? Anything on Who's Afraid you want to let the people know about, Lamar?
Absolutely. Who's Afraid is still in post-production, and our Seed and Spark crowdfunding campaign is underway. We just passed the 55% mark with the campaign ending on May 9th. So if you're interested in learning more about this horror film that I've written and directed, starring Siobhan Lee and co-starring former WWE superstar, also known as Big Cass, William Morrissey, in his acting debut,
Wow.
definitely go to seedandspark.com and pull up Who's Afraid, or you can also follow the project on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Who's Afraid Movie. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting this out into the world, and it's been a blast figuring out how to really deliver it in the way that satisfies the vision, both collective and individual.
We are definitely eagerly awaiting
Yeah.
the first chance to get our eyes on that.
Sweet.
Mickey, Ian, anything coming up with you guys? Any articles or any shows? Or Mickey's just domesticating for a little while? I
Yeah.
think.
I'm a Cancer, so we're a crab. So I'm in my shell right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, just on Fandom Spotlight. Like I said earlier, I just wrote an article on the wonderfully terrible TV movie, Problem Child 3, Junior in Love,
Yes.
which does again feature the great and sad to say late Gilbert Gottfried, who did have the advantage of not only appearing in all the Problem Child movies, but also was in all 26 episodes of the animated series. So
wow.
he's the only one who is in everything involved with Problem Child. So check out that article.
I got a deep dive for that animated show now.
He signed a massive 10-year deal.
Dude, it has
Did all 26 episodes air?
I doubt it, but it has everybody. It has Nancy Cartwright, Bart Simpson. It's got Maurice LeMar from Futurama, the critic. It had Jim Cummings, who's Winnie the Pooh, and even had the guy that played Dr. Smith in the original Lost in Space. Ooh, the pain! The pain.
You're pulling out some deep ones, some deep cuts there. I love
all
it.
with Gilbert Gottfried too. So
that's true. Well, anything with Gilbert Gottfried is worth the price of admission. That's for damn sure. Anyway, you Fandom fans might want to tune into tomorrow's Moon Night panel hosted by Fandom Spotlight's own Jazz B.O.B. at 9 p.m. And of course, we want you to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we party at the Moon Tower for our Dazed and Confused 420 special. As always, if there's a particular movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode, let us know in the comment section down below. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead, like, subscribe, and follow Who's Afraid Movie, Brothers from Another Planet, Taped Off TV, Fandom Spotlight, The Hollow Knight Network, and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.